All right, for AFEX commodities market update now, let's get a summary of how the market traded for the week ended last week. In the last trading week, we saw there was mixed performances across key indicators. Turnover, that rose by 1.13%, closing the week at 2.43 billion naira, and from 2.23 billion the last trading week. While volume of trades, we saw a decrease of 1.16%. Number of deals, that rose by 1.05%, closing the week at 175 from 116 points in the previous trading week. There was also, for the AFEX Commodities Index, there was a rise by 0.25%, while the AFEX Export Index rose by 0.92% from close of 236.17 points from 234 points. The volume of contracts traded now, we saw an increase in volume across sorghum and paddy rice, while for price across export commodities, there was mixed performance, with paddy rice rising by 18.18%. To close at 520 naira. Soybean rose by 7.62% to close at 408 naira 95 kobo. This week, we saw sesame, ginger, and wheat maintained at 1,240 naira, 990 naira, and 440 naira, respectively. On the other hand, for cocoa, we see there was a drop by 1.91%, closed at 4,202 naira, 29 kobo. Cashew nuts dropped by 0.32%, closed at 630 naira, and sorghum, that dropped by 10.54% to close at 380 naira. Across grain commodities now, maize saw an increase of 12.60% and closed at 395 naira, 51 kobo per kilogram. So that's a summary of performance there. Visit africaexchange.com for more details. Also follow AFEX on the social media platforms at AFEX Nigeria and at ComX by AFEX. All right, taking the conversation forward now, farmer cooperatives have been said to be an essential part of the agricultural ecosystem, built to create access to resources for farmers who singularly are excluded from accessing these resources, with more calls to create a sustainable, resilient agricultural sector. Now, we're going to explore the role of cooperatives as a catalyst for this much-needed development. Joining us now for this conversation is Kazeem Adeni, Area Sales Manager at AFEX. Good to have you on the show. Good morning. So, talk to us about the role of cooperatives, in bridging the financing gap in the agricultural sector. I don't know if you can hear me, Kazeem. Can you hear me, Kazeem? You might have to unmute, Kazeem. I can't, I see your mouth moving, but I can't hear what you're saying. You might have to unmute. Okay, well, we're still going to try and get Kazeem back, but looking at our farmers at this point, financing definitely is a big issue at this point, and we have Kazeem to help us break that, how the cooperatives are helping, bridge this gap. Kazeem, I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
Good morning. Fantastic. So, paint a picture for us about the role of cooperatives in bridging this financing gap, because at this time, we know farmers are still finding the fight quite difficult to access finance.
Thank you very much for having me. Farmer cooperatives are a group of individual smallholder farmers who come together to leverage on each other's strengths and to tackle the challenges they have. These cooperatives could be formed based on the type of crop they produce, their location, their age group, or their gender. And these cooperatives, like I mentioned earlier, they leverage on each other's strengths, and they are able to, pool resources. They pool resources together, and they are able to access finances both from public and private sector. And of course, most of the time, individual farmers, smallholder farmers are unable to do this on their own. But if they belong to a cooperative group, the cooperative can actually access some of these facilities to help them, to help them progress in their endeavors. And of course, the idea of the cooperative system is to ensure that no single farmer is like left behind. Everybody, grows together, and of course, it also creates an avenue to improve the agricultural sector. Also, it also plays a very pivotal role in ensuring financial inclusion for smallholder farmers. And of course, this also helps us improve the sustainability and the continuity of food production in the country and beyond.
And how do farmer cooperatives, contribute to the overall resilience of the agricultural value chain, at this point, looking at issues of climate change and economic instability?
All right. So on the issue of climate change, like I mentioned earlier, these cooperative bodies, they leverage on each other's strengths. It's an avenue to share knowledge about climate smart adaptation techniques to combat the effects of climate change. Also, it's also an avenue to pull resources from their collective purse to also get infrastructure and technologies to combat the challenges. For example, a cooperative body can easily set up an irrigation system to cater for a community during the dry season. Also, they can also go as far as create buildings, storage facilities, and all of that. On the issue, on the part of economic instability, cooperative bodies have a better leverage when it comes to bargaining prices. They are able to bargain better prices because of the volume they will be producing. Since it's not just an individual's effort, it's a collective effort. So this also helps to project them as more a structured body, a serious body who actually has a large volume of production coming from their region. And this of course helps them to increase their profitability on the side of the economic aspect. Also, as regards climate change, they are not really affected by the climate change, since they are open to knowledge sharing. They are able to get facilitators, to train them on novel ideas to apply on their farms. So overall, this cooperative body have a pivotal role to help these farmers combat the challenges of climate change and also the economic instability. They are able to make more money and of course better their livelihood.
Yeah, it's always quite powerful when everyone comes together for the same cause. But what is the place of stakeholders like AFEX, private and public stakeholders in creating and incentivizing stronger cooperative structures for most of these farmers?
All right, thank you. I'll start by we at AFEX. What we have been doing over time is to ensure that every single farmer on our network belong to a cooperative body, number one. Secondly, through this cooperative body, they are able to access several benefits, which ranges from input loan, seedling, training. They also have access to markets, access to storage facilities, and what have you. So this cooperative body, we have a lot of them on our own network who we work with directly, and of course we are also encouraging other private stakeholders to try to key into this to ensure that they try to reach out to farmers through a cooperative body. It's much easier to get, say, let's say 5 leaders of cooperative bodies to disseminate information to them, to also take it back to their own to their members, than say you want to convert 1,000 farmers and start training them and all of you. It's a bit cumbersome that way. But if we have representatives who actually belong to these groups, it's easier to disseminate this information. Also, on the part of government has a lot to do. And number one is about making it much seamless and easier for these farmers to come together and create a structured cooperative body. When I say structured, I mean registering with CAC and other bodies involved. And of course, government also has a role to play in ensuring that there are grants available and easily accessible by this cooperative body, so to continue to foster their works. And overall, we will definitely see an improvement in, one, the productivity, secondly, betterment of the livelihood of smallholder farmers, and this ultimately leads to a great reduction in food insecurity we have at the moment.
Yeah, definitely a lot to unpack there, and hopefully these cooperatives get even stronger going forward, and I'm sure they can also give some really good cheap loans, definitely, that these farmers actually need. Thank you so much for coming on, Kazeem Adeni, Area Sales Manager at AFEX. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.